Hi there, welcome back to Resin by Drew. Today I'm going to start using this mould, this teacup tray and coaster mould. It's a design that will take 2 days to do, so I'm going to start the first stage now. The first stage involves setting down some of my glass crystals that I really like to use. So I'm going to put some at the top of the now you might not be able to see the core that's quite the top. You might just get it in this top corner. I've got as much of the coasters and the tray on the screen as I possibly can, so I'm just putting some crystals in the top corner of the tray. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, but if not, I'll have moved away from here in a second. And then I'm going to put some at the bottom and into the handle. I'm going to do the bottom and the handle now. I won't be able to put them in the handles on the coasters because the crystals are too large, and I don't want to use a smaller crystal. I just want to keep them all the same size. So that's the handle done. Just neaten it up a little bit. Just use both hands to neaten it up a little. I don't want the crystals in the handle to be above the level of the mould. I don't mind if the other crystals are above the level of the mould, but I don't want the handle, I don't really want the handle to be above the level of the mould. So I'm just checking that there. There we go. Got a few crystals that have gone down into the gap of the mould, so I'll just take those out. So I'm happy with that. That's for the tray or a wall. It doesn't even have to be a tray. It could be a wall hanging. It would be very easy to make it into a wall hanging. Now I'm just going to add some crystals into the coasters. I'm not going to add as many. I don't want them to stick up really. I want them more flat with the top of the mould. But again, I'm doing both places, the top and the bottom, the top left corner and the bottom right corner. I've mixed up my resin, my first lot of resin to start this. I'm using Resin Pro transparent, and then for my second layer of resin tomorrow I will use craft resin because that's my heat resistant layer. I'm going to put decals in them. I'm going to keep them clear and put a decal in them, so it just be the same decal in all of them, and I think it's just going to say coffee time, but by the time it comes to the decals, you know what I'm like, I might have even changed my mind what it's going to say, and they might all be different ones yet, who knows. I do have a habit of changing my mind when it comes to decals. I start with one idea and then seem to run with a different one. Just spreading the glass crystals out a little bit. As I say, I don't really want them to be sticking up too proud in the coasters. I can check that in a minute. Just need some in the corners first. Let me just check if they're sticking up too proud or if they're okay. They seem okay. It may be that only the tray has a decal in. I might not put a decal in the coasters yet. Who knows? Who knows? it can all change. There we go. I'll check down on eye level in a second and just make sure that they're not sticking up too proud. I quite want them to stick up a little bit on the tray, but just not on the coasters. Right, let me just check on eye level for the coasters. Take a few out of that one. Okay, so I think that's okay for the coasters. So I've made up 300 millilitres of resin, and it's just clear resin, and so I'm going to drizzle some resin onto the glass crystals first of all. And do the same with the glass crystals in the tray. We will get some more on them when I pour the resin in, and when I put the next layer of resin on as well. This is just to help them to set to begin with. It allows me to move them around a little bit as well. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a smaller cup so that I can put the resin in the handles on the teacups, on the coasters rather. Just gives me a little bit more control over where the resin's going, so that I can get it into the handles. I don't need to fill them at this stage because, as I say, they are having another coat on as well. Okay, so I've got a good first layer in now, of first layer of resin for the both the tray and the coasters. So I'm going to leave those to cure up until tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll be able to put the decals on and the heat resistant layer. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Hi, welcome back. So the first coat that I put down on this tray and coasters last night has now dried. So I'm going to put the decals on. I've cut the decals out, I've put them on some sticky back plastic, and I'm just going to peel that off and stick it down where I want it. That's the first one, that's for the tray. So we want it on a bit of an angle. So it just simply says coffee time, and then I've got a coffee bean to go underneath it. So I'm going to use my brayer, just go over it with my brayer, and then peel it back. There's one. I'll do the bean on this one as well, and then the bean's in place. We'll have the coffee bean about there, I think. Again, I'm just going to go over it with my brayer. And peel it back. So that's the first one done, that's the tray done. Let's do the coasters. Again, I want them on a bit of an angle. I'm going to go about there. Just run over it with my brayer. Don't need to put too much pressure on it, just makes it easier than using my fingers, because my fingers aren't the strongest fingers in the world, that's all. So it just makes it easier for me. So say coffee time again. They all say the same thing. They all say coffee time, and I've got a small coffee bean, or a smaller coffee bean for these ones. There we go. And on with the next one. The letters aren't sticking to the sticky back plastic as well on this one, so I've just run over it again with my brayer. There we go. That one's off. Again, have it on a bit of an angle. Just run over it with my brayer. My dot from the eye is not sticking, so I might just have to do that separately. There we go, just put that down separate. And the coffee bean for this one. Oops. There we go. The dot from my eye doesn't want to stick, so I'll just do that separately in a minute. I'll just do my eye separate. Sorry if my head's in the way. There we go. And then I'll just do the coffee bean for this one. And the last one. And the last coffee bean. There we go, so that's all 4 coasters done and the tray as well. So I'm going to mix up some heat resistant resin, and then I'm just going to put my top coat on, and then that's that done. I can leave those to cure up and they'll be finished then. There's no great surprises in what they'll look like because you can already see the front of them, but I'll just go and mix up my heat resistant resin and I'll be back to pour that on. I'll do that on camera as well, and then you've seen the whole process, so I won't be a minute. Hi, back. I've mixed up my resin. I hope I've made enough, but we'll soon see. For my final top coat on these coasters and the tray, I'm just going to do the coasters first. I'm going to try and spread the resin into the handles rather than having to pour it separately, but I'm not sure if that will work, so we'll see. I think I might be better pouring it separately. Let me just get a small cup. I'm just going to pour a little bit into a smaller cup so that I can do the handles on the coasters. Just gives me a little bit more control over where the resin's going, that's all. I've done the handles, so I'm back onto doing the main bulk of part of the coasters. Just empty the small tub out, the small jug should I say. going to have enough resin. Not made enough up, but we'll see. I don't know though, it might have been a good guesstimate. Actually, I think that was a good guesstimate. Okay, so I'm happy with those. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to give them a little blast with the just with the embossing tool heat gun to get rid of any bubbles, because they're so clear, because they're so plain. I don't want the risk of any bubbles in them, so I am going to give them a little blast with the embossing tool. But rather than you listen to that, I will pause the video and I will be back tomorrow for demoulding them. So I'll see you then. Bye. Hi, welcome back. I've got these coffee time coasters and the tray that I've made that are now ready for demoulding. So I'm going to demould them. I'll do the coasters first. I'll get some card. I think black card will probably be best for these. But I will get some card so that you can see them easier. I think black card will be better, maybe white, but we'll soon see. I will get card out so it's easy for you to see them though, but I'll just demould. There's no surprises as to what they'll look like because you can see the front of them all. I'll pop them all to one side. Let me just grab some card. Yeah, I think black's best. So it just says coffee time, and it's just got the little coffee bean on there. It's got the crystals in there. Some of them are not quite covered over, which is absolutely fine. Just a couple on the edge, that's all. But that's absolutely fine. But I really like those. I think they're cute. They're neat just for a different idea. Let's see what they look like on the white card. I do think the black's better, but we'll just see what they look like. You know, the black's definitely shows them better. So yeah, so there's one. There's another one. Really pleased with those. It's just a simple idea, that's all. Just something different. It's surprising because I think I said to someone or on one of my YouTube videos, or I've certainly said it before, when I first saw this mould, I thought, what can I actually do with it though? Obviously I can do a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, but what else can I do with it? And I really have not been stuck for ideas at all. I've thought of all sorts of different things I can do with it, plus the idea that I got from Louise Singleton to do the fruit teas. I've just not been stuck for ideas at all. I think it's become one of my more used moulds of recent times, recent weeks. So I've been really pleased with it. I'm really glad I bought the mould when I bought it. So I'm just going to move move that out of the way, and then I'm going to bring the tray into view and we'll demould the tray. Now the tray or the wall hanging or whatever you want to use it for, the crystals in the corner are sticking upright, which is what I wanted them to do anyway. I didn't want them to sit flat. I wanted them to sit proud. So I'm happy about that. Just got a couple of little tiny bits of overspill. They're just the little bead type bits of overspill that I'm just peeling off as I go. Pop them all to one side and I'll just grab the card. So again, I'm really pleased with that. Just says coffee time and it's got a coffee bean there, but I am very happy with that. It's quite bubble free as well, which is good, but I think that's partly down to the resin that I've used, because it is a bubble free. It is a really good bubble release resin, and it's the one that I used for my top coat. Or did I use that for the bottom layer? No, I don't think I did use that for the bottom layer. I think I might have used Resin Pro for my bottom layer, but anyway, they've come out bubble free, so I'm happy about that. I don't know if you can see how much that the crystals stand proud in the corners, but on the handle as well. But it would make a lovely wall hanging in the kitchen. Imagine that next to the kettle, or sat on the worktop somewhere. It would look really nice. I'm really pleased with that. So I will take some still shots. I will add them to the end of the video, and I'll pop the video up for you to see, and I will be back with another experiment soon. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now.